Hey, what's going on, Who Dat Nation? Welcome to another edition of the State of the Saints podcast, where we talk New Orleans Saints. My name is TJ Jones. Thanks for checking out the podcast. I really do appreciate it. On this edition, we're going to be talking about Michael Thomas. Now, if you have not heard, Michael Thomas did not, I repeat, did not show up to Saints training camp on Thursday because he is holding out until he gets a new contract. That's right. Michael Thomas will not report to training camp until the New Orleans Saints and him reach an agreement for a long-term deal. And I'm going to be honest with you, man. The reason I'm doing this podcast right now is because I cannot believe what some of the members of the Who Dat Nation are saying about Michael Thomas. I just can't understand it. I just don't know what's really going on. There are a lot of members in the Who Dat Nation that are saying that Michael Thomas is selfish for holding out. Some people are saying that he is absolutely nothing without Drew Brees. And there are even people saying that the Saints need to trade Michael Thomas. And I'm just confused because I really don't know what to think anymore. And anybody that listens to my podcast, I'm always a firm believer that everybody's entitled to their opinion. But in this case, I have to say it. And I apologize to anybody if I offend them. But anybody that is saying that Michael Thomas needs to be traded or Michael Thomas is a selfish player, you know absolutely nothing about football. You know absolutely nothing about football because you don't understand the ins and outs of football. You don't understand about contracts. You don't understand about people actually holding out to try to get long-term deals because they understand that their bodies, understand this, their bodies are their investments. Their bodies is a business, okay? I understand a lot of people, we are not making millions upon millions of dollars. And yes, I understand that $2-3 million to some people is a whole bunch of money. But when you're a player like Michael Thomas, who plays in a $1 billion industry, the National Football League is a $1 billion corporation, and the Saints themselves are worth billions of dollars. This man deserves to get paid. This man deserves to get paid because he went out and he performed to the best of his ability. The guy has broken records, and he catches everything that Drew Brees throws to him. Now, for all the people out there that are saying, exactly, Drew Brees is throwing the football. Drew Brees. Yes, Drew Brees is great. Yes, Drew Brees is the all-time leading passer. Yes, Drew Brees is the all-time leader in completions. But understand this. Drew Brees has had several wide receivers come to the New Orleans Saints organization that weren't named Michael Thomas, and those receivers did not, I repeat, did not put up the numbers that Michael Thomas did. The only person that you can argue with is a Marcus Colston. The only person that you can argue about is a Marcus Colston. Everybody else, just think about all of the players. You think about people like Brandon Cooks. You think about players that came there like Robin Meacham and Devery Henderson. Why aren't these guys known as being Pro Bowl wide receivers? As great as Marcus Colston was, he never went to the Pro Bowl. But Michael Thomas comes in, second-round pick, gets drafted by the Saints, and the next thing you know, he has more catches than any other receiver in the first 3 seasons, one of the fastest players to 300-plus catches in a career, and yet we're still up here talking about this man doesn't deserve his money? He doesn't deserve $20 million because he's a dependable position? He needs to go somewhere else to see that he's not as good as he says that he is, or he proved that he is because Drew Brees is not his quarterback. Man, knock it off. Do you hear me? Knock it off. This man deserves his money, and I applaud him for not showing up to training camp. Yes, I said it. I applaud Michael Thomas for not showing up to training camp because if this man comes to training camp and he knows he's up for a big deal, and he goes out there and he tears his ACL, or he goes out there and has a career-threatening injury, who's going to pay him? That's all I want to know. For all those people that are out there saying that, he needs to report to camp, Are you going to pay Michael Thomas? Are you going to pay him $18-20 million that he is going to lose if he goes out and get hurt? Let me give you all a little story. I want to tell you all about a basketball player. I know this has nothing to do with football, but it's still sports. A player by the name of Isaiah Thomas. No, not the one from the Detroit Pistons back in the 80s, but a little short 5'9" point guard that played for the Boston Celtics. Now, a couple of years ago, he was the face of the franchise. He was the face of the Boston Celtics. He was the leading scorer of the team, and he was doing his thing. Isaiah Thomas got hurt in the middle of the season. Isaiah Thomas should have sat on the side and waited until his injury healed up. But he didn't, because he was listening to people. He was listening to fans. He was listening to the team. And the next thing you know, his injury got even worse. And the team, the Boston Celtics, didn't pay this man. And he was up for a major deal. He was supposed to get a max contract that was worth over $150 million. So I say that to say this. All players should put themselves first. All players should put themselves first. Forget about the fans. Yes, I said it. Forget about the fans. Forget about the organization, because the organization is always going to be there. But you're probably going to be in a league, I don't know, maybe 7 to 10 years, and you have to live the rest of your life. So I want people to understand that. I want people to understand that Michael Thomas has to look out for his best interests. And another thing, for all those people out there that are calling Michael Thomas selfish and saying that he needs to be traded and saying that he's not worth the money, I want you all to keep that same energy when Michael Thomas gets his contract, and he will get his contract. I want you to keep that same energy when Michael Thomas gets his contract and he goes out there and performs at a high level like he's done the last 3 years. I don't want to hear, oh, man, Michael T, he a beast, man. Mike T, a beast. Michael Thomas, you seen that catch? No, keep that same energy, because you already said that he's selfish. So when a man gets his money, keep the same energy. But I would like to know what you think about Michael Thomas not reporting to training camp. Comment down below, like and share this video. This has been another edition of the State of the Saints podcast. Previous episodes are available on iTunes, Spotify, and iHeartRadio.com. Till next time, all I have to say is, who dat?